Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Rory Mac, it is going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. We're so excited for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Carver High just called me Oil Can Boyd in the break. So I don't know. That's like the second time he said Oilers or Oil Can in the last 5 minutes. Something's developing. I don't know what it is. I think it's it's like the 7-year itch. Game 7 is like the 7-year itch. We're still talking baseball though. We have to put it on the back burner so we don't OD on hockey. I had a boss once say to me every day for 20 years, "Stop talking hockey. No one cares."
Listen, just enough with the music and the hockey. Can't you just take calls and give the scores?
Talk about the Yankees.
Just talk about the Yankees. Don't worry about hockey. Nobody likes it. The Brewers beat the Padres 6-2 yesterday. Tough weekend for Fernando Tatis Jr. He got hit in the arm on Friday night during an at-bat. Left tricep injury for him. He did not play Saturday or Sunday for San Diego. We will see if he is in the lineup tonight, Scotty, as they are home, I believe, against Washington, which we'll get to in a little bit. The Mets beat the Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball, so they win another series. They, of course, have been playing some real good ball the last couple of weeks. Francisco Lindor starting it off for the Mets on ESPN.
Fourth full count of the night for a side. 3-2. And that's well struck. Left field. Happ going back, turning and looking, and it's gone. And Lindor will touch them all. And the Mets have a 2-0 lead for Francisco Lindor. That's his 13th of the year.
Yeah, I think they're playing good baseball. They really are. And I have to eat a crow sandwich because I thought they were one of the worst teams in baseball. And they are playing legitimate every night, every day baseball now.
They are one game back in the NL wildcard race. Now, obviously,
they mean business.
It seems like everyone's 1 or 2 games back in the NL wildcard race. There's a lot of teams that are bunched together there, but they're in the mix. They're not out of it by any stretch, and they're only 2-1 there now.
They remind me of
37-39.
Your boy Judge. Judge missed all of April with his, he was like in a blank haze, couldn't do anything. They were booing him. And then in May, the guy put up a season of numbers in 1 month. And then the Mets were awful in April, and then by late May, like the third week of May until now, they have been, in my opinion, the hottest team in baseball.
They have been very good indeed. One other thing from the Mets, though, last night, Scotty, was, of course, closer Edwin Diaz got thrown out of the game, had too much sticky stuff on his hands. Now, he claims, Scotty, that it's the same thing he always uses, rosin, water, not that there was nothing illegal about what he was using, but the umpire was not having any of it. Ejected. That's an automatic 10-game suspension, which, of course, he's going to probably appeal because everyone in baseball appeals their suspensions. But here's Diaz telling you, I don't know what their problem was.
Do you agree that this was stickier than you usually are, or was it essentially the same in your eyes?
I think it's the same. You know, they always check me. They always check me and they let me pitch. But today was hotter than early in the season, so I don't know. They thought it was stickier, so I take the suspension.
And will you adjust anything going forward?
No, I will keep using the same thing because they didn't find anything in my glove, my hand, my belt, so I will keep using.
Did they think you were using too much, or did they think you were using an illegal substance?
I think they was thinking I was using illegal substance, you know. But like I said to them, you know, you can smell my hand, you can check, you can do whatever you want.
Smell me.
I will always use the same thing.
Smell my hand. Now listen, Carver High. I heard he got 10 games. Is that true?
Well, that's the automatic. If you get thrown out of a game for having an illegal substance, glove, belt, hand, anything, it's an automatic 10. That's non-negotiable. Okay. Now, there'll be an appeal, but that's that.
Okay, so I have a new way to cheat. As you know, like if you use like I do, got to be glued, which is literally glue for your hair, right? Like it's like you get the whole Billy Idol thing going. You can put that in there and it'll go messy. And I think Rob Lowe uses it, right? Have you ever seen a guy with more perfect hair than that guy? He's like 65 years old, but he looks like he's 20. He's got a little Botox going. He got to be glued in his hair. Now listen, if you're in and you have that in your hair, you could literally go like this and watch a game, or go like this and turn the channel on the TV, and it will come off onto your hands. And when you try to wipe it off, it is Lester Hayes City. I mean, your hand is covered in like thick stick. And you could literally, because I'm thinking little got to be glued, and you just a couple, take the hat off, rub it a couple times, put your hand like that. And I mean, you're looking at 15 to 18 strikeouts a game. And then you can't smell it either. Did you hear him? He said, smell my hand. I tried that once. I was like, here, smell my finger. They threw me out for a month. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe when I did that to my boss at Beasley. And they suspended me for a month, but I had to smell my finger. I also got suspended for 3 weeks for having a guy pull my finger once. You know what happens when you pull my finger, Carver High? It is run for the exits.
Well, you got suspended for all that stuff, but at least you didn't talk about hockey. Or at least you didn't talk about hockey with all that. So you tried not to talk about hockey during all of that. And finally, the Dodgers beat up the Angels on Friday and Saturday. Ohtani hit long bombs in both of them first time he was playing.
What do you think they'll do against the White Sox this week in Chicago? How do you think the Dodgers will do this week?
That could be Smash City right there. That could be a rough couple days.
It will
for
be.
The White Sox.
Could be. How about will be?
It will be. I'll give you the numbers for Game 1 coming up here. Why don't we start with tonight's games? We'll do a couple and then we'll finish the rest after the break. Cleveland is on to Baltimore. How about both of these teams, Scotty? 49-26 for Cleveland, 49-28 for Baltimore. Two of the best in the American League getting together at Camden Yards. Tanner Beebe and Cade Povich will be the starters for the first game tonight, -120 for Baltimore. Even money for the Guardians and a flat 8 for the total.
This team, the Orioles, is just unbelievable if you ask me. But Bibby can beat them tonight in Camden. Bibby's really good, and it's even money. I'm looking for value. I'm going to take a shot with the Guardians tonight. And both of these teams are almost identical, mirror images of one another. Should be a great series.
It should be a great series indeed. The Phillies will be in Detroit to open up a series with the Tigers at Comerica. Aaron Nola goes against Casey Mize in the opener, minus 185 for the Phillies, plus 150 for the Tigers at home. Another flat 8.
Yeah, I laid a 1.5 here with Nola. Your boy Larry Mize is awful. I don't think the Tigers are awful. I think they're decent. But your boy Larry, don't call me Larry, 1-5. My man's bad luck personified. I'm all over Nola tonight. In fact, I bet it this morning on the run line, and Mafia knows I did.
Great week for the Mariners to hang out in Florida, right? They spent the weekend in Miami, and now they get to spend a couple days in Tampa as part of their Florida swing. It'll be Brian Wu and Taj Bradley tonight at the Trop. Minus 115 for the Rays. Minus 105 for the M's, and a 7.5. What am I missing here?
Yeah, I got this at a better price this morning. I bet the Rays, if you can even believe it, I bet them. I think I got them at like minus $1.04 or something like that. Listen, the Seattle had they played lousy in Miami.
Yeah.
So what makes me think? I mean, they're sleepwalking. You're going to the pool, drinking, fruity drinks at the pool, getting sunburned. There's chicks and G-strings. It's hot outside. They're not used to that heat and humidity. I think they lose tonight in Tampa.
We will go through the rest of the slate when we come back. We got taters for tonight as well. That we have to tater time.
Ring the bell.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau.
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
I remember John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him at 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. These guys making this look so easy.
So having a day. The Englishman 6 under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Answer for the time being at least. Now this is Abraham Answer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Answer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
What an unbelievable moment in this Euro game on a penalty kick. Modric stunned by the goalie going to his left on a low grounder. He stopped it. Play continues. Ball comes out basically to the point. The Croatians kick it back in. Guy gets a ball on his foot in the air at the goalie with like a deflector bouncer down into the ground. The guy makes a save with his left hand on the ground that was just stunning. But a rebound, and Modric gets the rebound and goes top shelf where mommy keeps her pills and weed. And it's 1-0 Croatia with a unbelievable Carver High.
That is a wild turn of events over there in that match. And I'm telling you now, you're going to see Italy, Scotty. They're going to have to press now here. The way it holds here, if it ended 1-0, they might not advance into the knockout round. They needed a draw or a win to assure themselves a spot. Croatia would jump them into second place in that group, and they would have to then hope that they would get in as one of the 4 third-place teams. And only 3 points with a negative goal differential, I'm not sure if that'll go well for them. So they're going to need to get to work here right now against Croatia, so we should see maybe some offensive push out of the Italians. All right, we'll keep our eyes there. It's also still 1-0 Spain, I believe, Scotty, in the other match. I think it's 55th minute. 1-0 Spain over Albania in that one. Let's do the rest of the baseball here, including starting with the Pirates, who will now be in Cincinnati tonight against the Reds. Bailey Falter and Carson Spires are the pitchers. Minus 125 for Cincinnati, plus 105 for the Buccos. A big fat 10-piece tonight with these gas cans on the mound.
Yeah, you know what? The reality is they both have ERAs in the low 3s, and I just know Falter is always faltering. So I'm on the Reds, and I bet the Reds this morning. I got them at, I think, minus $1.20. It's minus $1.30 now. I got them at a better price this morning. Mafia knows on FerrallOnTheBench.com, so I bet the Reds.
The Blue Jays are in Boston. They'll go to take on the Red Sox. Of course, they played last week in Toronto. Now they flip venues to Fenway. Minus 165 for the Sox with Tanner Houck tonight. The Basset Hound goes for Toronto, who are plus $1.40 and an 8.5 here.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm on the Red Sox here to win. I'm not laying that juice, so I got to go run line at plus 122. I'm going to lay the 1.5. They swept them in Toronto. The Basset Hound is, I think, nickname only good. He's been fair to Midland at best this year. 6-6. I mean, he's a horse. He gives them innings. He pitches a lot. I'll give him that. He's not like this guy Scherzer pitches twice a year. The Hound goes out and does his job. Fair enough. He's a badass. But Boston has been playing great baseball. They rolled off of that series in Toronto, and they went and won another series. They have been winning every night. So I'll lay the 1.5 at the Sandbox.
The Braves are in St. Louis against the Cardinals. It'll be Spencer Schwellenbach against Lance Lynn tonight. Minus 120 for the Braves, even money for the Redbirds, and a big 9, another fat total for us.
I like that. I got it at 8.5, and I bet the over, and I like the Braves because suddenly, when they lost to Acuna, I thought, oh, man, are they dead? But they won 8 of 10, and they kicked the Yankees' ass this weekend. So I think the Braves go and beat the Cards in St. Louis in perfect order.
The Dodgers, as you were mentioned before, are going to be in Chicago against the White Sox. The Big Maple, James Paxton tonight. Garrett, don't call me Davy Crockett, is going for the White Sox. Minus 130 for the Dodgers. Plus 110 for Chicago. And a flat 8. I thought the Dodgers would be a little heavier than that, Scotty. But Crockett has been, I guess, decent for the White Sox this year.
Yeah, I don't care. Here's the deal. Bet it every which way. Bet the money line at minus $1.25 with the Big Maple, 7-1. He's 7-1. He wins every time he pitches. Secondly, lay the 1.5 at plus 130 because you're going to make fat bank there. And while you're at it, the number's 8. Crockett will be Davy Crockett by the end of the night when the Dodgers score 12 runs on his ass on the south side of Chicago. They are going to terrorize them in this series, and it starts tonight. Terrorize. That's the word, terrorize. I'll bet it 3 ways. I'll hit all 3.
Crockett, 124 Ks in 88 innings this year and under 1 whip. We'll see if those Dodger bats can change the pace for him so far. The Marlins are in Kansas City against the Royals. Cole Reagans goes for them, Scotty. The Marlins are going to send Roddery Munoz to the mound, and I was mentioning gas cans before. Your guy qualifies for that, Munoz. 11 homers in 29 innings so far for him. Royals minus 250, plus 200 for the Fish, and a 9.5.
Yeah, I'm willing to lay the 1.5 here with Ronald Reagans.
9.5. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. Minus $1.20 right now to lay the 1.5 there. Texas heads to Milwaukee, where they will see the Brewers over the next couple of days. Tonight, you will have Michael Lorenzen and Freddie Peralta to get us going. Minus 175 for the Brew Crew, plus $1.45 for the Rangers, and a flat 8.
I'll lay the 1.5 with the Brewers here at plus $1.18.
The A's are in Anaheim against the Angels. Luis Medina and Griffin Canning are the starters. Minus 135 for the Angels, plus $1.15 for the A's, and another flat 9.
I mean, the funky cold Medina. Give me the A's at the A.
We will come back and finish the rest, Scotty. I just have a couple of late-night games for you, and then the Taters we will get into as well. We've got Nats Padres, Cubs Giants. I have Tater time for you tonight, and then we will get into some NBA and a few other things. And then next hour is when we will start to really lay it down. Game 7 between the Oilers and the Panthers tonight in South Florida.
Where's the rum?
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau.
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
I remember John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him at 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. These guys making this look so easy.
Having a day. The Englishman 6 under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Ancer for the time being at least. Now this is Abraham Ancer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Ancer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
Good to have you with us on Coast to Coast on a Monday with Carver High and Ferrall in New York. You're right about Italy. They really are pressing, but they're not scoring. Still 1-0 Croatia in the 65th minute. So we got a couple more West Coast baseball games to talk about here before we wrap up the MLB betting.
Indeed. The Nationals, who, we were saying before, the Mets are only 1 game out of the wild card in the NL. Nationals are only a half game out of the wild card. They have played pretty well, too. Patrick Corbin against Matthew Waldron tonight at Petco Park with that soft serve ice cream, minus 210 for the Padres, plus $1.70 for the Nats, and a 7.5, which is light for a Corbin game, Scotty. I'll tell you that. 7.5's light when Corbin's on the mound.
Yeah, well, look, Waldron's actually been on fire. In his last 5 starts, he's pitched brilliantly. He's coming off a 5-2 win Wednesday night in Philadelphia that snapped the Padres' 5-game losing streak. He held the Phillies to 5 hits and a run over 7 innings. He's got 5 straight quality starts. He's permitted just 5 earned runs in 33 1/3. I'm on San Diego tonight. I know that the Nationals have been playing better, but I'm going to bet on this kid tonight, and I got to lay the 1.5 because I'm not laying $1.95.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Cubbies are in San Francisco. These two teams played at Wrigley last week, Scotty, if you remember. The Steel Mill goes for Chicago. It'll be Eric Miller for the Giants. Right now, minus 120 for the Cubbies, even money for the Giants, and a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm on the Giants. Even money at home with Miller, who's been relatively decent for the Giants. Decent. And I think Steele's been disappointing, to be honest with you, despite his work in terms of innings and strikeouts and walks. He's been good, but he hasn't had any results. They played last night on Sunday Night Baseball and then had to fly to San Francisco to play at Oracle tonight on West Coast time. A recipe for disaster. Give me the Giants at even money at Oracle.
There you go. And how about the Taters for tonight? Little Tater time on a Monday. Now, when the Red Sox faced the Bassett Hound last week in Toronto, I tried to go with Devers. He's got great numbers against Bassett, Scotty. He didn't hit for us that night. I'm going back to him tonight. Maybe tonight he gets him at home at Fenway, plus 320 for Devers. Austin Riley, plus 325 against Lance Lynn. Machado against Corbin late night at Petco at plus 400. I told you that guy Munoz for the Marlins gives up a lot of bombs, Scotty. Well, give me the big lefty bat for the Royals, Vinny Pasquantino at plus 450. You want to throw Whit in there, Salvi, Perez, whoever you want to go with, that's fine. And then also Canning for the Angels. He gives up a lot of taters. Brent Rooker for the A's at 3-1 late night out in Anaheim. A big tater time tonight. Maybe not some of the biggest names, but we're going to go to the window one way or the other.
The last time I heard that name is certainly in the Pirate booth. Your boy Rooker. So we got another Rooker finally in Major League Baseball. There you go, Brent Rooker at plus $3 bills. Tater time.
Let's get it. I want that Pasquantino one. I want the most. That's my favorite tonight. I hope the big guy gets one against Munoz from the Fish. One other baseball game tonight, actually. Game 3, the deciding game of the College World Series in Omaha, Scotty. Of course, Texas A&M beat Tennessee on Saturday night in Game 1. Tennessee evened it up yesterday afternoon. Now they play for it all, the championship of college baseball tonight. Tennessee minus 225, plus 170 for the Aggies. 10.5. They went over it on Saturday. They were under it yesterday. I'm going back to the over tonight, Scotty, in Omaha.
And I'm taking A&M at plus 170 to win the World Series.
Oh, going big with the Aggies. How about that? A Game 7 to decide the Stanley Cup in South Florida and a deciding Game 3 in Omaha for the College World Series. Talk about flipping to 2 TV night for us here.
I think the College World Series should be 5 games.
Yeah, 3's a little short, but I know they play so many games to get there, and it's all.
How old are they? 18 to 21.
Right? Make it longer. Give us more baseball. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, we'll do the rest after Coach Scotty. We got a lot more to do on C2C.
Yeah, you see that Tennessee team started hitting home runs finally. Yeah. They hit home runs in Game 1 that they lost, and then on Saturday, they were hitting home runs left and right, and now it's all on the line. I'm going to take the Aggies.
scoring map. It is going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You know, this guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in, and the angles he needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well. And he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hoberg.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Do you believe that Bobrovsky's minus 420 number right now using the FanDuel Sportsbook is an appropriate pricing?
I look at how strong Bobrovsky's been able to be, and he's been stealing these games. And when we look across the board for the rest of the Florida Panthers, there's not that standout player out there. But you got to remember, this is a voted on award.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
All right, so I got to tell you about the Euro and Copa and celebrating the summer of soccer with BetMGM because they're just giving money away. The Euro kickoff 50% soccer boost pack. You heard me. Get a 50% boost for 3 different bets, an odds boost, a parlay boost, and a live odds boost. They're going to be available through the first round of these Euros. Odds boost and live odds boost must be a minimum of 300 odds or higher. Parlay boost needs to be at least 3+ legs and plus 400 odds or higher. 33% odds boost will be available throughout the Copa Ferralla and the Euros as well. Go to the BetMGM app on iOS or Android. Download it. Get on the BetMGM app. You won't regret it. Or go to BetMGM.com for full details. And the other promotion where you can get paid in the middle of a game if your team goes up 2 goals. I mean, it's better than sex. Are we on the air? Don't talk about... Oh, okay. So Coach Young joins us on the Lion's Share. Real quick, Coach. So I'm with the knee doctor today, and he says to me, do 5 squats right in front of me right now with no weights. Just do 5 squats. Go to the ground and stand up. So I did all 5. He's like, you're fine. Then he said, well, what are you doing for it? I said, I use chops, compressor, heater, massager, and vibrator. The knee, giant knee, fixer machine she's got for her knee. And I've been using that like 5 to 7 times a day. And I passed all the tests. There will be no tears. There will be no surgeries. There will be no not playing. Coach is like, shut it down, rest, take it easy. Don't play for a couple weeks until you're cleared. Clearance is something I decide. I played with it the entire time. The day I did it, I kept playing. And then 2 days later, I played. I wore a brace for the last 5 times I played, but I'm not stopping for all your sissiness. No way, Coach. Put me in. Woo!
Hey, listen. You can do whatever you want. But if you hurt that knee even worse, I don't want you complaining on betting above the rim.
By the way, I will complain.
If you missed betting above the rim, we gave you 2 hours of gold yesterday with the draft coming up, Ferrall, a lot of draft stuff to talk about today, brother.
Yeah, so Wednesday night, SportsGrid's unequaled coverage of the 24 NBA draft. We got a special Wednesday and Thursday, plus Coast to Coast will be there Thursday at the SportsGrid Network studios down the Jersey Show, and we'll have it all going with Coach Young, the Kevin Walsh, you name it. The best coverage in the business of the NBA draft is right here on SportsGrid. All right, Coach, let's talk about some of your favorite draft prop picks. You and I went through literally, I think, every position, every player, every, G Leaguer, every foreigner, every NCAA player yesterday. It really was gold. It was fantastic. I don't know how it can be topped even this week by anyone. We've already set the bar very high.
Well, Ferrall, how do you top it? With my first bet being plus money. Stephen Castle to go number 4 at plus 180. Simply put, Ferrall, Ricochet, Sarr, and either Shepard or Klingon go 1, 2, 3. That leaves the 4 spot. If you look at San Antonio, Trey Jones, good player, but you could try and step this up by going with a Castle who can frontline you defensively and is at 6'6", is a long guard, young, that you can build with that San Antonio Spurs roster. If Topic didn't have that knee injury, I would say Topic could be this pick all up here, but that knee injury scares people. Stefan Castle, number 4 pick, plus 180.
I like that. I think that's inevitable, and I still think Topic lands in the top 10 with Utah at 10. I think he'll be right there. I think they have the patience. They're already young, and they have the patience to wait for him. And you and I both know that this kid can flat out go to the 10 and score. I love his size, a lot like Doncic, 6'6", 6'7", can score from anywhere on the floor, from 3, from the elbow, from the wing, mid-range, 12 to 15, baseline. He's got it all, can dunk, can finish at the 10, whatever you want, reverses, and he can pass. He's worth waiting for. I thought he was one of the most exciting players in the draft, whether he was foreign or not. I didn't care. He can flat out ball, and you and I both know it.
Oh, I love Topic. And if he didn't have the knee injury, I think he would be in play in the top 5. He's the best pure passer in the draft. He's 6'6". He's long. Ricky Rubio with a jump shot.
Right.
Okay? Well, what held back Ricky? It was the jump shot. This guy is the best passer in the draft. He's long at 6'6", can defend. He will step in, and it's perfect for Utah, and you're right, because Utah keeps kicking the can down the road for Ralph. They want to build up this young roster, and they can do this. It allows you to move the kid that they drafted last year out of Baylor and move him to the 2-guard spot because he's not so much of a point guard. He's more of a shooter. So I like a young backcourt of that kid from Baylor, and obviously Topic in that backcourt of Utah. I like Topic to go top 10 in the draft.
So you always like going your next pick to get a shave at the salon. You always like to go to the salon to get a shave. You're going with this French kid, Salon, and he can deal as well.
Tijan Salam. Get the name. He's been flying up the draft boards. He's now at a top 10 at even money. This kid is long. He's athletic. All right, I'm not going to say he's Giannis, but he's kind of got this Giannis build, a little bit smaller, but really long. Excels in transition. Top-notch defender. Jump shot needs a little bit of work. You're looking at a team like me, like Portland. I know there's rumors about Klingon, but you're looking at a team like Portland, right? With Simons, with Sharp, with Scoot. Jeremy Grant is a 4. I know there's talk about maybe Zach Edey. That's probably more at the 14th pick if they take him. There's a spot there at a small forward for a defensive guy. I like Tijan Salam to go top 10, maybe to Portland at 7.
So Salon, now look, if this kid from Kentucky, Reed, gets picked 3rd by the Rockets, then Klingon doesn't go 3rd. Do you think, real quick, that Portland at 7 goes Klingon or Edie?
If Klingon and Edie are there, they're going to go Klingon. Okay? If Klingon is gone, they'll draft someone at 7 like Salam and then try to get Edie at 14. Edie's an intriguing case, Ferrall, because he's ready-made, right? You know what you got. So simply put, you look at a couple other guys. What does that mean? That means either Rob Will or obviously the other one, DeAndre Ayton. One of them is going to get moved relatively soon.
All right, so you know my favorite player in this draft just got cleared of rape charges. He's had a real stressful 6 months, but in between, he played in the NCAA tournament. He was dropping about 35 a game. Shannon from Illinois means business. He's the next one that you think will go in the first round. What kind of price?
He's minus 130. Ferrall, 2 words: walking bucket. In
That's right.
transition, he could score. He's 95th percentile in the pick and roll. For all we know how the pick and roll game is in the NBA, and he can defend on ball, off ball. And if you play for Brad Underwood, you better damn well play defense. Minus 130 for Shannon Jr. to go in the first round.
And your other one in the top 10 is a surprise.
And now if you're going to the first round, I like Tyler Smith to go in the first round, minus 110. Ferrall, simply put, with the power forwards, 3 and D, big enough, strong enough, shoots it well enough. His over-under is 26.5, minus 110 to go in the first round. Tyler Smith, first round pick.
There you go, Coach. Great stuff to deal with this week.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes obviously after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire Pat Hobert.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
You know, this guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in, and the angles he needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well. And he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on SportsGrid.
He went bogey and double, par, birdie, bogey. Thomas Dietrich's all over the place here today.
This golf course is so volatile where it can make you look like a fool in just a matter of minutes. And, you look at a guy like Thomas Dietrich. He's right there tied for the lead or whatever it was, and now he's like 4 or 5 over in the wink of an eye.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Don't forget, Ferrall Coast to Coast will be live on Thursday from the SportsGrid studios at the Jersey Shore. And we'll be there for the second day of the NBA draft. And SportsGrid has 2 days of specials with the 24 NBA draft, Wednesday and Thursday, the best coverage in the business. This Wednesday night and Thursday night, check out our coverage. We'll be there, Carver High and I, on Thursday to break it all down for you. Get stoked for the NBA draft this week on SportsGrid. All right, Carver High. Speaking of basketball, Kenny. Where's Kenny? He finally got a job.
Kenny Atkinson finally does get a job, Scotty. Of course, he has been rumored the past couple of years while being on Steve Kerr's staff in Golden State as getting a few of these jobs that have opened up. And now he has got one. The Cleveland Cavaliers hire Atkinson to be the next head coach, Scotty. So Kenny back in work.
Well, I think he's a good coach, and we'll see if he can live up to any kind of accolades that we give him. He's been great with young talent, and I got to be honest, I think that it was a really smart move on his behalf that he went to work with Steve Kerr for these last several years and worked on that staff, and I think it made him smarter. I think it made him better. I think he's going to be even more evolved than he was in Brooklyn. The Nets have never been the same since they got rid of Kenny Atkinson with all their stupid hires. This guy Marks. I'll give him credit for one thing, that he gave Kenny the job to begin with and then screwed it all up after. That's like the guy that ruins dinner, right? The guy on the grill, he just thinks he's the chef and he ruins everyone's dinner. That's what Sean Marks did to the Nets. But Kenny Atkinson can coach flat out. And then being around Kerr, I think it's going to bring out the best in him. And I think he probably stole some of his recipes. You know what I mean? He had to have learned even more being around Kerr. I think it's going to pay off in spades for him in Cleveland. And particularly if they're able to, that front office, keep Mitchell and keep the big. You know, let's be honest here. You know, Rib Boy broke his rib, didn't play. And when you had that, you know, if you remember, Atkinson was his coach in Brooklyn. And I think that Allen healthy with Mitchell and with Kenny together again, now you got a core to build around that can flat out play, and he can coach. So I like the move a lot. I really do. I think a lot of these other moves that I've seen in the NBA for coaching have just been, frankly, embarrassing. And I think this one's a legitimate hire.
Good job there by Cleveland. All right, we're getting closer to free agency, which means we're going to see a lot of really big contracts throughout the NBA. Scotty Barnes, 5-year max rookie extension, which will be worth up to $270 million. Wow, for Scotty Barnes. I guess that's the going rate, right? $270 million.
I mean, honestly, I almost just bit my tongue off. There is just, I am sorry. There is no way on earth that I will ever be able to swallow that they just gave Scotty Barnes $270 million. And I thought the Brown deal was bad. Look, I think Scotty Barnes is a really good player. He's not $270 million good. I'm sorry, he's not. What does he do in Toronto that's worth $270 million? I mean, they don't even win. Like, can I get a guy that wins games on the team? Like this guy Mitchell. Does he win? Does he win? Yes. Does he get them in the playoffs? Yes. Does he produce every night? Yes. He's worth the money. Barnes, he puts up a bunch of stats and they never win? And you give him $270 million? Christ almighty, where do I sign up for that job? Honestly, how do you get that kind of money when you don't even win? I mean, he's the star on the team, right? Like, if you are the superstar on the team, you've got to win. Win games. Make the playoffs. They can't even do that. And you give him $270 bag? Come on, honestly, I'm gonna bite my tongue off so I don't swear on the air right now. You gotta be kidding me.
It's hard to fathom. The numbers in the NBA, they are astonishing. They certainly are with some of these contracts.
That's ridiculous.
You mentioned it before. The draft, round 1 is on Wednesday night. This has been changing a lot. I'm sure you and Coach obviously were just talking about this with some of these odds for the draft. I've actually seen people, Scotty, in the last 12 to 24 hours start to try to sell that Donovan Clingan is going to be the first pick in the draft. I've actually seen people start to sell that.
Yeah, listen, yesterday on Betting Above the Rim, not only was I not buying that, I also talked about extensively how Zach Edey used him like a rag doll in the championship game. Now, everyone talks about how, this is about potential and what he's going to be and down the road in 4 years and what they'll turn him into. And I'm sorry. I refuse to accept, and I think he's a good player. I don't deny he's a good player. I don't deny his size, skill, upside, future, potential, skills, all that. You can put it all in a basket. That's great. All I know is this other guy is an absolute monster. And people that continue to doubt this guy is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. He's 7'4", 300 pounds. He is the best seal big man I have seen in 30 years in college basketball. All he has to do is stick his ass out, and no one is getting near that ball. And then he makes every single mini hook, every Jimmy kiss off the glass. He makes his free throws. He lob dunks. He blocks shots. He gets rebounds, and no one on earth can move him. You cannot move him. He is not better than Zach Edey. I am telling you, they're going to rue the day they doubted this big fella. I've also heard this from all the geniuses. He can't run. I've heard that he can't get up and down the floor, except he played 40 minutes a night for 5 years. He never came out of a game. Shut up. Stop with all of your bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about. All these geniuses talking about basketball. None of them play against a fat ass. Shut up.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
So I just said to Carver High in a break, like even the fat Serbian doesn't run. Valanciunas doesn't run. Cat Towns can't run. Nurkic can't run. Ayton, all he does is cry and complain about how miserable he is. All I know is that to me, it's a half-court game in the NBA. If you're in a rip and run transition, he's not part of that play. Rip and run, I need guards and forwards and moving and finishing, right? Fair enough. but I don't need him to be on the fast break. I don't need him to be end-to-end Speedy Gonzalez. It is a half-court game. What happens in the last 20, 30 seconds of an NBA game? Timeout, half-court, set it up. It's a half-court game. It is a violent, physical half-court game. And with that guy at 7'4", 300 pounds, he is an absolute mountain of a man, immovable. And he can finish with both hands. And who can stop him? You know what I've heard? For 2 years, I've been hearing how awful he is as he scores 35 a night and wins back-to-back Woodens. All I hear about is how he sucks. By all these people in the NBA that do this for a living that are all 310 pounds themselves, fat asses, can't even walk, let alone run, let alone play basketball. I can't stand it. I'm sick and tired of watching candy-ass fat guys give me my advice about players that go out and score 35 a night and have 20 rebounds and make all their free throws and have 7 to 10 dunks a game and shoot and make, 8 of 9 mini hooks and 9 of 10 free throws, and you tell me he sucks? Shut up. I'm done with it. I think Portland takes him at 7. In fact, if they take Klingon number 1, honestly, I'm going to come on here with a giant machete knife and stick it through my heart and kill myself right on the air. I'm going to take a giant machete knife right on Thursday on Coast to Coast at SportsGrid at Bellworks. And I'm going to, did you see House of, what do they call it? The thing on HBO, the spin-off of the
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. See the guy last night? He just put the sword on the ground right in front of the queen, and he just sat on it and killed himself after he killed his brother. Guy just took it right through the chest. That's what I'm going to do if Klingon goes number 1. That's what I'm going to do.
I do think it's funny that a year ago, all anybody said was,
"Oh, Italy tied it with 10 seconds left."
Wow. Was it Saltalamacchia? Was it Scaramuccia? Was it Scaramuccia? Who was it?
I don't know, but it's unbelievable. It's literally with no time left.
I
Literally
was waiting
no
for it
time
to
left.
finish before I started doing all the scenarios, and I was
just a rocket. Unbelievable.
That changes things now. That means that Italy is going to advance as the second place team in that group. They'll get on to the knockout stage, and Croatia is going to be finished because that's going to.
I've ever heard is how awful I am. All I've ever been is overlooked. No one wanted me. This coach didn't want me. That coach, Calipari, none of them wanted me. This guy, that guy, he named off all the best coaches in college basketball. Not one of them even wanted to consider me. And he said, "I'm playing in the national championship game tonight, so enjoy watching me." And then he went out and he literally dominated Klingon. And then I hear it's because Connecticut's so good they didn't need Klingon that night. No. Yeah. What I saw was one guy dominating the other one. It was simple. When the game was starting, it was Klingon against Edey in the middle, right at the 5. That was a big matchup. But then when he dominated him, all they talked about was, Klingon, they didn't need him tonight because they were too good and they won another back-to-back title. They're so amazing. He's going to go number 1 in the draft. The guy that can't do anything against Edey. Edey ate him alive and slept with his girlfriend. Ate him alive.